What do you miss the most from pre-COVID? Collective sanity. As a person who works nights, stores and restaurants that are open late. I used to be able to get out of work at whatever hour and have a dozen different grocery stores and fast food restaurants I could stop at on the way home, and now 2 years after the pandemic I have only one or two, and sometimes they'll be closed anyway for whatever reason. Stores being open late. Not being able to book things long in advance because you have no idea what the situation will be like in a handful of months. You can sure as hell buy the tickets for a gig that's happening months from now, but is it actually gonna happen when it's supposed to? Who TF knows? Person shrugging. My Matchbox 2020 concert tickets now 2022 tickets. My teen is not amused that I am calling the band Matchbox 22. I guess I miss not having a stack of inconveniences that have to be dealt with in order to do public things. It's not that any one inconvenience is too much, but it's just so many little things. Amen to that. All the little things add up. Hey, let's go check out a museum, zoo, etc. Sorry, you need to book an exact time slot 3 weeks in advance, hope the weather cooperates. It also kind of drives me nuts when you need to use a phone to do nearly everything a cashier used to do. I'm currently in first year of college. I hope next year I'll finally have some classes in the actual college instead of my bedroom. I'm in my last year in my bachelor's program, undergraduate, and I'd switched colleges right before the pandemic hit, so not only have I removed myself from a wonderful group of people in my previous college, whom I'd gotten close to, I've also spent the greatest part of my degree with people I've only ever talked to online, except a couple that I did meet once. Talk about bad decisions. Really living. This feels like just existing. I'm stuck with this overwhelming feeling of ennui. Bored with food, bored with TV, bored with social media, bored with books. Confused face. I had been going through a series of rough years from 2015 to 2019, heroin addiction, arrests, unemployment, death of a sibling, and was just starting to turn the corner as we entered 2020. I had finally gotten clean and was nearly done with probation. But I felt like I was simply existing, just as you said, and it was really starting to wear me down. I remember New Year's Eve going into 2020, standing on my porch, and I finally began to look forward to the future, to better things and happier days. I felt motivated and optimistic, something I hadn't felt in years. And just as I began putting the pieces together for my revival, the pandemic hit full stride and absolutely shut down the world. Since then I've basically gone the opposite direction on the path I had planned out that New Year's night. Weight gain, mental health issues, isolation from friends that I had just barely begun to reconnect with. It feels like the universe noticed I was finally getting my shit together and decided to take a fat dump all over everything. Fast forward 2 years and my life has become the epitome of stagnation. I'm in a dead-end job, I have zero social interaction outside of work or my parents, who are really starting to show their age, but that's a whole other issue, and I'm exhausted all the fucking time. While not constant, my depressive episodes have come back with a vengeance, and my apathy towards everything has increased tenfold. I'd be lying if I said I haven't been daydreaming about ending it all. And I know they say suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem, but it's hard to ignore these thoughts when they almost feel like the highlight of your day. Luckily I have stayed clean from heroin this whole time, but that is the only bright spot in a sea of darkness. Sometimes I shock myself when I remember the pandemic has been raging for 2 years. This whole chunk of time has blended together into a featureless gray amorphous blob of suck. Every day is exactly the fucking same, and I'm so tired of it. Sorry for the rant, this one really got away from me. I just needed to get that out of my system. For what it's worth, just know that you're not alone in how you feel. Will things get better? Hopefully. But until then we can continue existing, putting one foot in front of the other. Hell, we've had enough practice doing this lately. I'm sure we can last a bit longer. I feel the same, a stagnant feeling. Stagnant is the perfect word. Comment removed by moderator middle.10 mo. Ago. My sister. Not seen her in person since the start as she works abroad. Sure, we video chat, but 2 years is a long time to not see someone in person. Yeah, this is probably it for me as well. I'm the one overseas and I haven't seen my family in 2.5 years, and it will be at least 3 before I am able. I've missed deaths, births, weddings and so many holidays and get-togethers. At this point I have begun to feel so disconnected from their lives that it's stressful thinking about trying to catch up, and to be honest I am pulling away from them and becoming numb to it. Honestly, just the feeling of security we didn't realize. You want to go out? Go for it. Making plans somewhere out of town? You go right ahead. Planning a vacation somewhere? No problem. Now you can't really make any large-scale plans without the decent chance it'll get cancelled and you lose the down payments. I finally gave up and got a refund after a music festival I had tickets to was postponed 4 times, like I get why, but there's only so much you can take. A normal university experience. Where I live, many universities have been mostly virtual since March 2020, so the community and social aspects of university has been almost entirely absent. And the fact that we're still paying full price for zero amenities and bullshit classes, some of which don't even meet, is straight highway robbery. Exactly, you'd think they'd at least half the tuition or not charge facilities fees, but good lord, they're seriously out here charging $65,000 a year for fucking Zoom classes. I think if I had to be all virtual I'd have to transfer to a cheaper school. Damn, also want teenagers here to know, if you are not already rich, as in your family can burn $250,000, taking out $250,000 in loans is. Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. I had a close friend in high school. We were basically the same class rank. We had similar skill sets, same major. We ultimately ended up getting similar jobs and making a similar salary. Except I took the nearly full ride to a state school and she went for her dream school that cost $70,000 a year, no assistance. So now it's like 15, 20 years later. Our lives are similar except one of us owes nearly $300,000 fucking dollars. Even with a plush job that takes years to pay off, not counting interest. And even if you pay it off, what did you really pay for? So some already rich school can give their football coach a slightly higher salary next year? Okay. Like, ask yourself, non-rich people, would you rather have a shiny piece of paper, or a slightly less shiny paper and a new house? A slightly less shiny paper and 30 vacations to countries around the world, enough for a lifetime? A slightly less shiny paper and the financial freedom to move anywhere with anyone at any time? Rich kids, do whatever you want, I guess. You're probably used to it. Paying for the name essentially. To be fair, that's what a lot of folks were always doing. Same. I can't believe I'm beginning my senior year this fall without having gone back to campus since March 2020, my freshman year. Fellow college student here. I feel fucking robbed and depressed. My grandparents. My dad. I'm so sorry, heart. I'm so very sorry. I miss my son. His psychiatrist, therapist and support groups were unavailable to him because of COVID. He died by suicide last year. Fuck COVID. Loss of a child always holds strong in the emotions of parents. My wife and I lost our firstborn son suddenly 22 years ago. His was so unexpected, everything fine one day and rapid emotional overload the next. The initial moment being told he's gone, having to inform family members, having to schedule a funeral and pick out a casket, the whole time going through the anger stage of grief myself, by that point saying this is never supposed to happen this way. He is supposed to attend my funeral one day, not the other way around. First year is always toughest. First the son's birthday, Mother's Day, Father's Day, your own birthday, Christmas, etc., without your child. As the years pass, each subsequent year's events are easier to face, but the grief is still there. As someone who has also gone through loss of a son, albeit at barely a couple of months old, I unfortunately understand the emotions. It's a devastating group to have to be associated or part of in life, but I get it. Someone said to me recently, and I never forget it, someone who has lost their spouse is called a widow or widower, someone who has lost their parents is called an orphan, but there isn't even a word for someone who has lost a child, because it just can't be put into words. My best friend died a year ago yesterday of COVID. My heart aches so much. I'm sorry for your loss. I hear you. I lost my sister to COVID. Sending you love. My optimism for my future. I miss the fact of just being sick without any other kind of concern. I have chronic, but mild, reflux, irritates my throat, causing me to feel the need to clear it. Every other week it's been, is this cough the normal cough or COVID? Greater than _ less than. Having seasonal allergies is a nightmare from a social grace perspective. Sneezing is like firing a blank in a crowd. As someone with autoimmune issues, I've spent the whole pandemic playing is it COVID this time or just my gradual physical decline? It's been fun. I miss being congested and itchy and wheezy and being able to say fucking allergies without having to second guess myself. Not living in a constantly changing system. Pre-COVID, everything was scheduled, school holidays, places were open to visit. But since COVID, everything that has to do with the government is constantly changing. I just miss being on stable ground. I graduated in 2019 and decided to take a gap year in 2020, and thank fuck that I did. So now you are on gap year number 3? Nice. Gap year number 3 so far. In-person classes. Before COVID, I took a drawing class, a sewing class, etc. Now, it's so much harder to try out a new hobby. I was in PTA, physical therapist assistant, school during the pandemic and we did hybrid learning. Lab classes in person, lecture online. I learned very quickly that I do not learn through online lectures. I need to be in person to stay engaged. I tried an online class like once 10 years ago, pretty sure I just dropped it a few weeks in. I can do it whenever turns into never doing it for me. The problem is that in isolation you have more time to try out new hobbies, but you're too exhausted from how upsetting the world is to have the discipline to keep up those hobbies in isolation. I try not to feel guilty about letting myself do nothing for a while if I feel overwhelmed. My waistline. I remember seeing the joke floating around all over the internet of now that I've lived through a plague I understand why Renaissance paintings are all a bunch of chubby women laying around with their tits out. It's pretty on the nose. I had just gotten in the best shape of my life and was really starting to have success with weightlifting all of 2019. Then COVID. This week I was just finishing a holiday break and ready to get back to the gym. Wake up this morning and bam, COVID. Got my booster back in November, I got my first shot in January 2021. I tried to do everything right and here I'm sick anyway. Fuck my life. Started the first 6 months of COVID by getting down to 180 from 190. I'm up to 223 now. All I think about is food. Being present-minded. Here and now sort of mentality. Last 2 years feels like I've paused things waiting for this pandemic to blow over. But the more time passes, the more I feel like I'm just wasting away, if it makes sense. Edit, thank you guys for the awards and what is by far my most upvoted comment. Just wanted to clarify that my mental health is fine as far as this pandemic goes, but the comments/concerns are appreciated. Stay safe and as optimistically positive as your situation allows. Working from home and rarely leaving the house has me losing track of time, find myself having trouble recognizing the date or day of the week. I agree. Let's hope 2021 is a better year than last year. The ease. To just go wherever whenever. Shakira approves. Making appointments of various kinds, medical, dental, renewing driver's licenses and such, and especially vet appointments, seems like a huge hassle now and sometimes the next free slot is weeks/months out. Lol yeah. I had something come up right before a dentist appointment and called to reschedule. First appointment was another 6 months. Then during the cleaning they're like you got a lot of build up, why did you wait so long to come in for a cleaning? Listen motherfucker. Lee Hin Mu her fooer edit, Velp never expected gilding for leaning my head back and opening my mouth so thank you smile. Never expected gilding for leaning my head back and opening my mouth there are a lot of people who'd pay good money for that, not sure what you're talking about. Duduk. I have a whole slew of dumb health problems so going to doctors, lab work, and getting tests done is literally my full-time job. It's just so fucking awful. We veterinarians sincerely apologize for the wait. But please be aware that the number of pet cats and dogs in the US has increased by 43% since 2018. The number of veterinarians and their support staff has not. Also, curbside service takes twice as long. We would see you sooner if we could. But we are worn out and at the end of our ropes, and deeply appreciate your patience. Yeah, if anything there are fewer vets than before. My wife just started working as a receptionist at one of the local vet clinics, and they're saying that a lot of vets in my area used COVID as an excuse to retire. I can't say I blame them at all, and multiple offices have just closed entirely, one of them with basically no notice for the staff or clients. My friend was taking her cat there, and since the office is closed, she's having a ton of trouble getting their records transferred to a new vet. There are only 2 or 3 offices left in the area immediately around my city. Only one of them is accepting new patients, and if your pet has an emergency you have to drive an hour and a half to the big emergency clinic. So all the vets are stressed out because they have too many patients, and all the pet owners are stressed out because they have to wait so long to get their pets' issues checked out, and if something takes a turn there's a significant chance they won't be able to get to the emergency clinic in time. It's a great time for my cat to have an enlarged heart. The big boy in question, his name is Leukemia, and he's just too full of love. Fewer vets than before. Vets and their support staff. I, the senior vet, can put up with a lot of bullshit for fair pay. Vet techs, receptionists, and other staff are paid a lot less to deal with a lot more public-facing nonsense. We are trying to fix this, but it's a system that wasn't created overnight and will take years to overhaul. In the meantime, people are leaving in droves. It's like any other service industry, except we have scalpels and death. Yep. Was a vet tech until 3 months ago. I was physically, mentally and emotionally exhausted. My hospital and the team were awesome, but COVID made so many clients behave like fucking cunts. The good part was that the manager was also over it and he started firing clients left and right if they were not being nice to us. I'm so sorry that people were so shitty to you. I really respect vet techs, and if it weren't for you guys, my dog probably would have died from a bowel obstruction from all the stupid fluffy toys he's managed to eat over the last year and a half. Unironically, thank you for your service. Number of pet cats and dogs in the US has increased by 43% since 2018. Holy crap. Yep, I'm currently facing this issue. I got COVID recently and had to reschedule an important doctor's appointment for something far more threatening to my health than COVID. Irony is, my issue wouldn't be so bad, and as expensive, if I had gone in many months ago. But many services were shut down/limited months ago. I've also noticed a lot of health centers nearby that targeted for low-income people/people without insurance are suspending services due to the recent surge. It's going to be horrible in the long term seeing what issues could have been prevented if preventative service appointments would have been possible to make in the first place. Understanding what people say. I have bad hearing loss and I rely hard on reading lips. Far more than I realized. Now that everyone is wearing a mask and their voice is slightly muffled, I'm constantly asking people to repeat themselves. I have auditory processing disorder and I have the same issue. Medium-level friendships. People I was very close with, I put in the effort to stay close to. The exhaustion of video calls was worth it to keep them in my life consistently. I let go of a lot of very surface-level friendships that I don't really miss. People I saw at work sometimes or hung out with mostly because we knew the same people. They were cool people but we just weren't really part of each other's lives. But I miss the friendships in the middle. The people I went to college or grad school with that would get together around holidays or for weddings. People I wouldn't see weekly or anything, but would be worth a weekend trip to share an activity. I tried doing video call game nights with them too when this all started, but you can only do so many hours on Zoom in a week before it just isn't any fun even to see friends, and we fell out of touch. I've been trying to find ways to reconnect in recent months, and it's helped a lot. Easy travel. Pre-COVID I used to head either overseas or interstate often, with minimal planning needed. I renewed my passport December 2019, so that was unnecessary cost considering. My friends, I went from the most socially active person on the planet, to a lonely asshole. Some got engaged and disappeared, lots of them went away for work, others simply disappeared, and knowing new people is hard as hell nowadays. These things all happened even before, but pandemic really got them bigger. God only knows how bad I'd go back in time. I still talk with my really close friends, but I had so many friendships dissipate during the pandemic because we just couldn't really hang out and didn't bother to keep in touch. It sucks. I spend most of my time at home now. I feel this. I had to move during peak COVID for work. Had to have been the worst timing to pack up and move away from best friends and amazing coworkers. I've been at my new job for over a year and a half and it's been really difficult to get to know people with so much telework, social distance, etc. etc. I'm somewhat of an extrovert as well, so it's been really difficult not having that same level of socialization. All the restaurants that went out of business. Tried and true ramen shops, Chino Cubano hole in the walls, classic Italian fare, the underrated Mediterranean fusion spot that always gave you a little extra hummus without you asking. All the places my fiancé and I used to get lost in. They're all fucking gone. It really sucks. Local or small businesses, too. There used to be a family video hanging on a couple blocks down, and we loved the nostalgia of browsing the new releases and back titles and renting a couple movies for the weekend. It shut down about 6 months ago. My mother-in-law gave me money for lessons for a sewing shop down the corner that offer lessons on their website. I was so excited because I just got into sewing and I want to learn. Turns out, they've been closed for over a year. We had a couple of really old businesses close down. Mexican Manhattan was 1948 to 2020, and Bollner's Meat Market was 1914 to 2020. Fuddruckers got killed, Luby's almost did, Lulu's, home of cinnamon rolls bigger than your head, died abruptly after reopening. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button for more content. I post every day and I'll see you next time with more stories.